So last week, the part of the breathing that I talked about was if you're moving, it's because you're breathing, you're inhaling, your body's expanding, you're exhaling, things are contracting, or you're exhaling, going downward, or inhaling and coming up. So what we can see from the outside about the breathing, this week is a little bit harder thing. It's what's happening inside when you're breathing. So what's generating the breathing? That's one of the things that our body does, you know, subconsciously, like we breathe, but it's one of those things like I can't necessarily control my heartbeat, but I can control how I breathe. So, two things, there's two places kind of to think about. One is under your ribs, there's this thing called the diaphragm that separates the lung cavity from all the stomach stuff, the digestive system and everything. It's right here. And so this muscle is a set of muscles that kind of like domes up like this. So it's up under your ribs and it's like a dome, right? And when you inhale, it comes out like that, okay? And it makes more volume here so it can really fill up the lungs. And when you exhale, it goes back up like this. And the ribs and everything kind of squeeze together, right? So this is our diaphragm. Inhale, stretches out, and exhale, it comes up. So that's what's changing the pressure in this area, in this cavity. It's for the lungs to expand and fill with air. And then when it pushes back up, the diaphragm, we expel the air out. Well, now, down in the... All right, so we got through the diaphragm stuff. So here's our diaphragm. We're going to imagine that this is up underneath my rib cage. And when I inhale, it flattens out and my lungs fill. And when I exhale, it goes back up like this, right? And pushes the air out. So move down to the pelvis. We know that, you know, you've got your leg bones, thigh bones coming in, your femurs into the hip socket, and then there's this whole set of bones in the pelvis. But we also know that just stuff comes out from down there too, right? If you've had a baby, you know that there's a pretty big opening in that set of bones, that they're muscles, all different, lots of muscles that are kind of woven, like, think of it like a basket. So this one, instead of being this way, the diaphragm, and going down here, you've got a set of muscles. It's kind of like, one set of it is sort of like a hammock that we can hold up. Yeah, so one of the best ways for people to learn to lift the pelvic floor is talking about the Kegel exercise. And basically what that is, and you can Google that and find lots of good videos about how to do Kegels, how to do, Pilates has some good pelvic floor isolation exercises. I would recommend looking for that. I might try to put together a playlist for it. But basically, it's like you're trying to stop your pee, right? So I'm going to stop the pee, and that's squeezing, and that's putting on the Kegel. We're contracting the pelvic floor. So we're basically tightening up that hammock, so it's not, you know, sort of doing whatever it wants to. We're holding it up, holding it together, I guess we should say. So a really good way to feel that is to stop the pee on an exhale and try to draw up, 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 lift your pelvic floor as high as you can and finish that exhale. Then hold it, try to hold your pelvic floor up, stationary, and then inhale and fill the lungs. So when we do that, if we're holding this thing down here, you know, it's really like all the way down here, right? If I'm holding that stationary, and then this thing on top where the lungs are is spreading out as I inhale, right? This is holding stationary, this is spreading out. What's happening? It's going to squish. It's going to squish down on all this digestive system. And then when we exhale and we're lifting it higher and this is coming up, it's not really, this isn't going to go that much higher, right? So really what's going to happen is the pressure is going to come off of your digestive organs. So it's kind of like we're giving, through the breathing that we do in the ashtanga practice, a nice massage sort of to all of your, okay, so that was a lot about the exhale. No, ma'am. No, you don't need to get up there. That was a lot about the exhale. So stop the pee. The Kegel goes on. We're squeezing here. We're squeezing, 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 squeezing so much. We're pushing all the air out, right? Exhale. It's like, imagine that, you know, you're squeezing so tight that this thing is coming all the way up till it like bumps the diaphragm and pushes it up, right? And the air comes out. Okay. Then the funny thing to help kind of remember is you've pushed it up and you've held it up there so high. So before we fill the tub here, before we're going to expand the lungs, before you fill the tub, put in the plug. So hold tight on that Kegel. Hold it as tightly as you can. Put in the plug, and then fill the tub. Inhale and let your lungs really expand and that diaphragm comes pressing down. Okay. Those are like the 3 parts